Good day, nurses. Now let's discuss appendicitis. So when we say appendicitis, usually appendicitis is the acute inflammation of the appendix. So nagkakaroon ng inflammation doon sa ating appendix. So kung ito yung ating colon, okay, this is your large intestine, this part is your cecum. So kapag zoom in natin, this is your cecum and this is your appendix. Okay, so ano nangyayari or anong meron sa appendix natin? Usually, yung appendix natin, may mga laman niya na good bacteria. So usually, pinaka main purpose niya or pinaka main function niya sa ating katawan is for immune system response. Okay, so ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng appendicitis, okay, ano ba yung mga possible reason or causes kung bakit nagkakaroon ng appendicitis? Una natin, we have your fecalit. Pag sinabi natin fecalit, this is chronic constipation. Okay, so when we say chronic constipation, yung fecalit natin yan yung mga maliliit na tae na matitigas. Okay, maliit siya na tae pero matitigas siya. Okay, so second one, we have your lymphoid hyperplasia. Ibig sabihin yung mga lymphoid tissue natin nagkakaroon ng paglaki or enlargement doon sa ating appendix. Okay, kasi sa appendix natin may mga lymphoid tissue tayo dun. So, ang tendency kapag lumalaki sila, okay, nagkakaroon ng obstruction that can lead to inflammation. Next one natin, your parasites. Okay, these are your microorganism. Okay, pag nagkaroon ng invasion ng microorganism doon sa ating appendix, okay, yung ating microorganism na yun or yung parasite na yun, anong ginagawa niya, 'di ba? Nag-a-undergo siya ng multiplication. Ibig sabihin dumadami siya. Aside from dumadami siya, lumalaki siya. So kapag once na tong parasite na to ay dumami at lumaki sa loob ng appendix natin, magkakaroon ng obstruction that can lead to inflammation. And lastly, we have your foreign bodies. Foreign bodies natin, these are ito yung nasa lang siya, rare condition. Okay, rare lang, bihira lang natin siya makita. Bakit? Ano ba si foreign bodies? Usually ito yung mga seeds. Okay, bumabara yung mga buto na kinakain mo, buto ng prutas na mga kinakain mo. Okay, so these are the four main causes ng ating appendicitis. No? Okay, proceed tayo sa risk factors natin. Okay? Sa risk factors ng appendix natin, una, we have your adolescents and young adults. Okay, adolescents and young adults. Bakit at risk yung adolescents and young adults? Kasi during this stage class, dito masyado or dito mataas yung pang-enlarge ng lymphoid tissue natin. At this stage, mataas or mabilis yung paglaki ng ating mga lymphoid tissue. So dito, kung lumalaki yung lymphoid tissue natin, lalo na sabi natin kanina, sa appendix natin may mga lymphoid tissue tayo. So kapag nagkakaroon ng panglaki ng mga lymphoid tissue na yun, may tendency na yung appendix natin ay magkaroon ng obstruction that can lead to inflammation. Second, we have your low fiber diet. Pag low fiber diet tayo, class, mabagal ang peristaltic wave natin, okay? Yung peristalsis sa katawan natin bumabagal kapag low fiber diet tayo. So ang tendency, pag once na low fiber diet tayo, that can lead to constipation. So kapag constipated ka, sabi nga natin kanina na ang main reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng fecalit because of constipation. And one of the reason kung bakit nagkakaroon ng constipation dahil una, low fiber diet ka and decrease ang oral fluid intake mo. Third one, history of GI infection. Remember, pag may infection, class, okay, pag may infection or inflammation, nagkakaroon ng constriction. Pag nagkaroon ng constriction, may narrowing. So may possibility na tong infection na to magka-cause or siya yung dahilan kung bakit magkaroon ng narrowing sa appendical lumen natin or sa may appendix natin. At pag nagkaroon ng narrowing, that can lead to obstruction. At kapag may obstruction, that can lead to inflammation. So these are the risk factors ng ating appendicitis. Now, proceed tayo sa pathophysia natin. Okay, sa pathophysia natin, una, okay, nagkakaroon ng intraluminal obstruction. Gaya na lang yung cause natin kanina because of parasite, because of fecalit, because of hyperplasia, and because of foreign bodies. These four causes can cause intraluminal obstruction. Pag nagkaroon ng intraluminal obstruction, that it increases the intraluminal pressure. So, ibig sabihin, doon sa loob ng appendix natin, nag-i-increase yung pressure. Pag nag-increase yung pressure, nagkakaroon ng compression doon sa blood vessels. Ibig sabihin, class, naiipit daw yung blood vessels natin. At pag naiipit yung blood vessels, magkakaroon ng impede. Okay, mai-impede yung blood flow doon sa appendix mo. Pag nagkaroon ng obstruction at nag-decrease yung blood flow doon sa appendix natin, yung bacteria, kukunin niya yung opportunity para i-invade yung ating appendix. Sabi ko nga kanina na ang main function ng appendix natin is for your immune system response. Bakit? May mga good bacteria na present doon. Ang good bacteria na yan, nangangailangan sila ng oxygen supply for them to function properly. So kung nagkaroon ng decreased blood flow, may tendency na hindi enough yung oxygen na napupunta doon sa mga good bacteria. As a result, anong nangyayari doon sa bacteria? Hindi nila nagagawa yung function nila properly. So nanghihina yung mga good bacteria natin. Kaya kapag once na merong bacteria, the bad bacteria na at inatake niya ngayon yung ating appendix, yung good bacteria hindi niya malalabanan si bad bacteria. Bakit? Anong ginagawa? Dahil hindi enough yung oxygen supply ni good bacteria. So ang mananalo or ang magwawagi si bad bacteria natin. So kapag once na ang bad bacteria na yan, okay, nagkaroon ng invasion, dadami siya at lalaki siya. At kapag once na dadami siya, magkakaroon na ng inflammation doon sa appendical wall natin. Remember class, sabi ko nga kanina, dapat good bacteria ang laman niya, hindi siya bad bacteria. Dahil bad bacteria ang laman na ng appendix natin because of insufficient blood supply, nagkakaroon na ng inflammation. At kapag may inflammation na, tatawagin na natin yung appendicitis. Okay, now proceed tayo. Baba tayo sa ating complication. Okay, kapag once na yung appendicitis na yan, okay, may inflammation, di ba sabi natin yung signs ng inflammation natin, meron tayong 5, your rubor, calor, dolor, tumor, and your loss of function. Isa doon is si swelling, si tumor natin. Di ba nagkakaroon ng swelling kapag may inflammation? So, yung inflammation na yan, kapag nagkaroon ng swelling or edema, mas lalo niyang i-obstruct yung appendimal lumen. Okay, mas lalo niyang i-obstruct yung appendimal lumen. At pag nagkaroon ng obstruction lalo, mas lalong magtataas yung pressure. Mas lalong mag-i-increase yung pressure, at kapag mas lalong mag-i-increase yung pressure, may tendency na magkaroon ng perforation or puputok yung appendix mo. At kapag pumutok yung appendix mo, yan na itatawagin natin ruptured appendicitis. At one of the complication ng ruptured appendicitis natin ay peritonitis. Peritonitis, ano ang magma-manifest sa patient natin pag may peritonitis? Usually, that's a rigid board-like abdomen. Okay, magkakaroon ng rigid board-like abdomen. Pag once na may rigid board-like abdomen ang pasyente mo, that's already a emergency situation. Bakit? That's complication already. Okay, that's already complication. So now, proceed tayo sa ating nursing management. So sa nursing management natin, class, we need to start IV fluid. Okay, start IVF natin. Bakit natin kailangan mag-IV fluid? To rule out or to correct dehydration. Okay, to correct dehydration. Remember yung ating what you call this one? Yung ating patient, okay, magkakaroon ng fever, okay, may possibility na magkaroon ng nausea and vomiting, or in preparation sa appendectomy. Okay, dapat meron na tayong naka-start ng IV fluid natin para to correct dehydration. Next, kailangan NPO ang pasyente natin. Okay? Hindi tayo pwedeng magpakain. Okay? Bakit? In preparation na rin for appendectomy. Okay? And the next, antibiotic therapy because of inflammation. And always remember, class, that do not give pain medication. Bakit hindi pwedeng magbigay ng pain medication if in case na may appendicitis? Kasi nga, isa sa mga reason, okay, kung bakit nagkakaroon ng pain sa appendicitis because of increased intraluminal pressure. Nang dahil doon sa pressure, nagkakaroon ng pain. What if ang pressure na yan, okay, or yung appendix mo nag-rupture? Kapag nag-rupture siya, magdi-decrease na yung pressure. Therefore, pag nag-decrease yung pressure, okay, pag nag-decrease yung pressure, mawawala na si pain. Magdi-decrease din yung pain. So, isa sa mga manifestation na nag-rupture na si appendix mo pag nag-decrease yung pain. So, paano kapag nagbigay tayo ng pain medication, mawawala yung pain ng pasyente natin. So, hindi na natin ngayon mamomonitor yung ruptured appendicitis if we give pain medication. So, para mamonitor natin yung ruptured appendicitis, we do not give pain medication to our patient. Okay? And then next, do not give laxative. Okay? Huwag daw magbibigay ng laxative sa patient. Okay? So, bakit hindi tayo magbibigay ng laxative sa pasyente natin? Okay? Pag nagbigay tayo ng laxative class, okay, para saan ba si laxative natin? Okay, your laxative, pampatae yan. So, ang nangyayari, pag nagbibigay tayo ng laxative, nag-i-increase yung peristalsis. Pag nag-increase yung peristalsis class, nag-i-increase din yung pressure doon sa may appendix natin. Pag nag-increase yung pressure, mas lalo lang risk siya for perforation. Okay, puputok yung appendix ng pasyente natin. Okay? And then, avoid hot compress and enema. Remember, pag hot compress yan, class, hot compress is vasodilation. Promotes vasodilation si hot compress. So, therefore, pag nagkaroon ng hot compress, okay, nagbigay ka ng hot compress sa patient mo, magdadilate yung blood vessels doon sa appendix mo. And remember, increase na yung pressure. Okay? Pag nag-increase na yung pressure, pinadilate mo pa yung blood vessels, mas lalo lang tataas yung pressure that can lead to or that increases the risk for ruptured appendicitis. And lastly, do not give enema. Diba? Bakit si enema? Si enema kasi it increases the peristalsis. Pag pina-increase mo yung peristalsis, nag-i-increase din yung pressure sa may appendix natin. Pag nag-increase yung pressure, dinagdagan mo lang risk for ruptured appendicitis. Okay? Now, proceed tayo sa surgical management natin. Surgical management natin, okay. Sorry, we have your manifestation first. Okay, your signs and symptoms. Una, may vague epigastric pain ang pasyente. Okay, may vague epigastric pain. Second one, patient might experience nausea and vomiting. Okay, magkakaroon ng nausea and vomiting yung pasyente natin. Okay, and then next, magkakaroon ng low-grade fever. Bakit? Because of inflammation. Okay, next, diarrhea or constipation. Bakit magkakaroon ng diarrhea or constipation? Remember, inflamed yung ating appendix. Your appendix is part of your large intestine. So therefore, hindi rin magagawa magagawa ni large intestine yung function niya properly to absorb water and electrolytes, kaya pwedeng magkaroon ng constipation and diarrhea. Elevated WBC, compensatory mechanism ng ating katawan because of inflammation. And in case of rupture, spasm will occur followed by a brief cessation of abdominal pain. Okay, spasm will occur followed by a brief cessation of abdominal pain. Yan ay manifestation ng ruptured appendicitis. Okay, next naman natin we have your rebound tenderness. Pag sinabi nating rebound tenderness class, okay, positive for rebound tenderness, paano ba to ginagawa? Usually, slowly press the abdomen. Okay, slowly press the abdomen at tapos pag na-press mo na siya, okay, pag na-press mo na siya, pag ni-release mo at may pain, positive for rebound tenderness. Again, pag press mo sa abdomen niya at pag nung ni-release mo, merong sharp pain, positive yan for rebound tenderness, possible may appendicitis ang pasyente mo. Second one, your Robsing signs. Paano naman ginagawa si Robsing signs mo? Si Robsing signs mo, pinipress mo si left lower quadrant. Okay? Ipipress si left lower quadrant. Pag nagkaroon ng pain, okay, sa may right lower quadrant, positive for Robsing sign. Again, you will ipipress mo si left lower quadrant. Kapag may pain sa kanyang right lower quadrant, positive yan for Robsing sign. Okay, next your psoas sign. Pag sinabi naman natin psoas sign, i-extend mo yung right leg ni patient. Okay, i-flex mo yung right lower ay yung right leg ng pasyente. Pag once na tinaas ni patient yung kanyang right leg, kailangan mo siyang i-oppose. Yung kamay mo, gamit ng kamay mo, pilit mong ibababa yung paa niya. Okay, pilit mong ibababa yung paa niya, tapos si patient mo naman pilit niyang itutulak pataas yung paa niya. So ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng pain sa kanyang right lower quadrant, okay, pag may pain sa kanyang right lower quadrant, habang pinupush mo pababa yung kanyang paa at habang tinutulak naman ni patient pataas yung kanyang paa at may pain sa right lower quadrant, positive yan for psoas sign. Next, your obturator sign. Paano naman si obturator sign? Usually, if-flex mo yung hip niya. Okay, pag flex mo ng hip niya, magkakaroon ng internal rotation sa hip. Okay, you will flex the hip and knee. Okay, itataas mo yung hip and knee niya, and then magkakaroon, i-internal rotate mo yung hip niya. Pag nagkaroon ng pain sa may lower pain sa right lower quadrant, okay, positive yan for obturator. Again, extend or flex the hip and knee and then internal rotate the hip. Pag may pain sa right lower quadrant, positive for obturator sign. And lastly, your Dunphy sign. Paano naman ginagawa si Dunphy sign? Dunphy sign, usually magka-cough si patient. You will ask the patient to cough. Pag once na nag-cough siya at nag-increase yung pain, okay, positive for Dunphy sign. So these are the mga signs na pwede nating makita sa patient natin na may appendicitis. Okay, now proceed tayo sa ating management. Okay, surgical management, appendectomy, removal of the appendix of your patient. Okay, so ano yung mga nursing management natin pag mag-undergo ng appendectomy? First, we need to monitor airway and breathing. Bakit? Surgical procedure. Okay, kapag nag-undergo ng surgical procedure ang isang pasyente, at risk siya sa complication na yung atelectasis or pneumonia. Why? Bakit magkakaroon ng atelectasis or pneumonia? Remember, gumamit tayo ng anesthesia. Okay, your anesthesia can cause respiratory depression. So pag nagkaroon ng respiratory depression at mahaba yung procedure kay pasyente, okay, pwedeng magkaroon niya ng atelectasis or pneumonia. So anong gagawin natin after the surgical management or after the surgical procedure? Okay, we need to encourage patient for early ambulation. Okay, encourage patient sa na mag-early ambulate. Ano pa, we need to perform, di ba, for deep breathing exercise, okay, for lung expansion. Okay, so usually yun yung mga ginagawa natin, deep breathing and what they call this one, yung spirometry natin. Okay, yung spirometry and early ambulation, this management increases or promotes lung expansion. Okay, para magkaroon ng lung expansion and to prevent atelectasis and pneumonia as one of the complication of the surgical procedure. Then assess for incision and dressing. Okay, bakit? To detect to detect bleeding and um, infection. Okay, to detect bleeding and infection. Then next, monitor vital signs frequently. Okay, lalo-lalo na kapag may fever ang pasyente. Ano pa? Or tachycardia. Okay, pag once na may fever or tachycardia, that's emergency situation. Bakit? That can be a signs ng peritonitis. Okay, pwede magkaroon ng peritonitis yan. Then, assess for vowel sounds. Okay, assess for vowel sounds. Bakit? Before advancing diet. Okay, di ba? Before tayo magpakain sa post-op patient natin, we need to check the vowel sound ng patient. Kailangan bumabalik na, okay, kailangan umutot na yung pasyente, di ba? Yun yung mga una natin tinatanong, nakautot ka na ba, ma'am? Okay, or tumae ka na ba? Pag once na umutot or tumae na yung pasyente mo, ibig sabihin, bumalik na yung kanyang peristalsis or yung normal GI function niya, pwede na tayo magpakain. Kasi kaya niya nang i-tolerate yung pagkain. Pag once na nagbigay tayo ng pagkain na hindi pa bumabalik yung kanyang peristalsis or yung kanyang bowel sound or bowel movement, hindi matotolerate ni patient yung pagkain. Okay? And then, we need to encourage early ambulation to prevent atelectasis and pneumonia. Aside from that, to prevent your deep vein thrombosis. Okay, 'di ba sabi natin nung ating perioperative nursing, kailangan early ambulation to prevent deep vein thrombosis as one of the common complication ng surgical procedure. And pain control such as deep breathing exercise and mobility or yung paglalakad-lakad. Okay? So yan ang ating appendicitis.